Hello, amigos. How goes it? Hope you're well and staying sweet. Today I'm going to show you how to make Frida Kahlo cake pops. She is one of my favorite artists of all times, and a lot of people ask me why, and I think that when I think about her and her artwork, she just used art to overcome some really difficult times. She got an accident when she was pretty young, which changed the course of her life and really put her in a place to self-reflect and do a lot of self-portraiture and real and raw artwork, and I appreciate that. So we're gonna take her lead and make something sweet in times that are really kind of tough. And we're gonna do Frida Kahlo self-portrait cake pops. So get your ingredients ready. I posted a list on the blog, sweetlybrooklyn.com, and I'm gonna show you how to make something sweet, creative, and tasty. Stay tuned. So I have my cake ready, some American style buttercream, some add-ins that I want to add in later, and all my gear ready. Some of the stuff I'll talk you through. You don't necessarily have to have all of it at home, but and I have my lovely poppy smock Frida Kahlo apron on to theme my my project with my apron, which sometimes I like to do if I can. Anyways, I am going to give you a pass on this one, as there is a little bit of a shortage of some of the ingredients at the store. If you don't have the ingredients to make the chocolate cake recipe that I posted, you can grab that cake box at the store in any flavor you want, really, and a tub of buttercream, and you can use those to make this project. So here we go. So you need to bake your cake off, and it needs to be, this is cake that is left over from another cake that I made, which you can use. So you want to crumb it. You can use a stand mixer if you want for this process, but I, don't always do that because I like the tactileness of it. And you definitely need to use gloves for this project if you're making these for other people. And I'm going to add a tiny little bit of cinnamon and have a light dusting, and just a tiny little hint not too much, of cayenne, a little glob in there, might be a little bit more spicy. So we are going to make these Mexican chocolate cake pops. This Frida Kahlo is Mexican. Oh, it smells so good. I smell the cinnamon and the cayenne. You don't have to add that if you don't want to. You really, you can add in different stuff if you want. Just have to watch the consistency. So I'm going to add probably about, I'd say 2-3 tablespoons of buttercream, and then you're going to just mix that buttercream in to the cake. Now, chocolate cake is a little bit, if you're doing this with vanilla cake, depending on your recipe, chocolate cake is a little bit more oily usually because there's more fat content in it already than vanilla cake. So you just have to, add a little bit of buttercream in at a time. You can always add more. It's harder to take that buttercream out once you add it in. Those 2 tablespoons are going to be perfect for that amount of cake that I had in there. So you want, basically, for the cake pop to be able to have it all up really well and not have it crack. So that's perfect. There's a couple little cracks in there, but that is fine. So that is one cake pop. I'm going to put it over here on my parchment paper. I also have a scoop that I usually use for cake pops. It's a number 40. You can tell by the inside there. Sometimes it's listed on here. You can use this to scoop the cake pops. You level it off. Alright, so we're going to roll these, put them in the fridge for about 10 to 20 minutes. We'll check on them in a little bit. If they're kind of cracking a little bit, you can give it a squeeze and roll it. Roll it, roll it, roll it. Alright, I'm putting these in the fridge. We'll see you in 10. So we have our chilled cake pops, and we're going to take them and we have a cake pop stick. And you can use, if you don't have cake pop sticks at the moment, you can use probably a skewer that you might have in the kitchen at the one end. So you're going to make a heart shaped. We're going to take our cake pop stick and we can kind of do the top of the opposite end. And we're going to use our fingers to just give it a tiny little mold like that, so that it looks like this. We're going to work kind of quickly because you want to dip your cake pops. There's this fine balance in between having your cake pops be too cold versus warm, where you then have the problem of them falling off your sticks and stuff. So work a little fast. You can put these back in the fridge if you need to. So heart shapes. So the top of the heart is going to be her hair, and then this is like her neck, right? Okay, so we got those done, and we are going to mix a skin tone color. So we have chocolate here, and we have white chocolate here. Now, if you don't have, I use candy melts, not the Merkins, and not the, I forget the brand, because they just don't work well and they don't taste good. So these are Ghirardelli, which you can find in a lot of grocery stores. Target also has it. It's more expensive, but it is tastier, and it just is not, it doesn't give you as much sass. It just melts nicer and coats nicer, and you can mix the colors. So we're going to make a skin tone color, because so we're going to add a little bit of our chocolate to our white chocolate and mix it in a little bit at a time until we get the color that we want. You can also use chocolate chips, so white chocolate chips and semi-sweet or milk chocolate, and you use them at the store. And what you're going to do is you're going to use a tiny little bit of oil, shortening, maybe butter if that's all you have, but really just a little bit of, you melt them, and just a little bit of oil, and that fat will help it be, make it dippable. I'm going to add a little bit more chocolate. Alright, that's good. So we're going to take our cake pop sticks, and we are going to dip one end, and then you're going to put it in that end, and you're going to place it aside. You do that for all your cake pops. And usually I do this. These are a little soft because they, I was sculpting them. So I'm going to put them back in the fridge before we completely dip them, because they will fall off these sticks. All right. Assembly line of 1. Cool. So we're going to put these back in the fridge for probably just like a few minutes until the chocolate is firm and the cake pops are a little bit more firm. Okay, so we have our cake pops and they're chilled, and you can see the shape, little hearts. And we're going to first dip them into our skin tone color. And I didn't really talk about melting chocolate. So when you're melting chocolate, you want to be very careful. to not over melt it. So when you put it in the microwave, you just need to pretty much do it for, I usually do it for like 15 seconds at a time. So I'm gonna dip that cake pop all the way in there. Use my handy dandy mugs, and then you're gonna tap it gently. Do that so that the excess comes off. And then I sometimes take a toothpick and we'll go around the edge down here, so when I stick it in, you can stick these in styrofoam, or if you have a cake pop holder, those are handy, or you can get like a jar, and you want to get all these bubbles out of there, make it smooth. Gotta work pretty fast because it will start to dry. You can see it's drying already. So our cake is cold. As I was saying, you can put some rice in a jar, and they will stand up straight in there. So I'm gonna put that on my holder. I'm gonna dip the next one. And just stick it right. Oh, where's the camera? It's right in there, and kind of. Be kind of gentle. And tap it off. Get that excess off, otherwise it will run down your cake stick. Cake pops can be really fun to do, and they take a little bit of practice to get it down. And these ones are, sculpted, so give yourself some time to experiment and learn. So like I said, we're making Frida Kahlo ones, but you can also make ones that look like you or look like your little brother or little sister. And we're gonna let this dry before we give her hairdo. Frida had a very distinct hairdo. She would always, or usually always pull it back. She sometimes did a braid, and then she would oftentimes put flowers in her hair. All right, so we're gonna then go to our dark chocolate. Give it a stir. You want it to be, pretty much this consistency, so that it runs off your spatula, offset, or whatever you're using. You don't want to have it be too hot when you dip her hair. That will melt the other chocolate. And you don't want it to be too cold, because then you won't get a smooth melt in there. And we're gonna dip one side, and then we're gonna dip the other side, and give it like she has a little part in her hair. So I usually take it and kind of go there. And shake it off. Oops, my camera skills. Not the best. All right, so then you can see we're gonna put our eyes on her mouth and her unibrow here. So we're gonna take put a little bit of attention on the back.
She could be on Zumba. Wow, look at that. Zumba cake.
Hey.
Frida Kahlo cake. Wow.
There's some friends outside waving me down. So I'm gonna put this right here. So we have our Fridas. We're going to add some flowers to her hair. So we have a little bit of our chocolate. Now you can dye the chocolate different colors and add it, or you can, what we're gonna do is simulate some flowers. So we're just gonna dab some on there. And before it dries, which will probably be pretty quick depending on the temperature and your place right now, we're gonna just take these sprinkles and put them on. Now there are flower sprinkles that you can get at the store, or you can, and then you can move it kind of around with your finger if you want and press it down. Sometimes we'll make flowers, but this is probably the quickest way to do, or one of the ways to do this right now. Cute. So put that aside. Or grab a toothpick. You can use, if you have them, fondant flower mold. And if you get dribbles of chocolate on there, it's okay. You can wipe it off. So we have a fondant mold that we're going to use a couple of flowers that we made already on it. So just put it on here. And then we're going to take our Fridas, and you can use a marker. You can use your gel to paint on, like we did the fine art painting. So we're gonna do a little eye here. And I like to gonna do a little, kind of in the shape of a heart. Oh, Frida. So she is very famous for her artwork, but then also her sense of style and her, ooh, chocolate from my glove, her unibrow. So Frida's. All right, that's it. Now it's time to clean up and to eat a Frida cake pop, I think. I hope you enjoyed making the Frida Kahlo cake pops, and that you learned something new, and that you are staying well and staying sweet. Adios, Brooklyn and beyond. Till next time. Tasty.